Babaji, today's theme is human birth, the rarest of rare gem. So, Baba, to start with, what is special about being born as a human being as opposed to an animal in the animal kingdom?
Uh, One of the basic thing is a human body has a beautiful, well developed brain. So the first thing you are able to discriminate right and wrong, real and unreal, as we keep talking of a permanent and impermanence. Like for the universe, I always tell universe is impermanent. So it is alerted that you cannot obtain a permanent happiness in this universe. For that, you go for the permanent existence, that is the self. The knowledge, awareness of the self is necessary. So, like that, this human life, we can tell that is rarest of rare gem and opportunity, once in a life cycle opportunity, because once this body is gone, one might lose control to decide and what to do. When you are alive in the body, you have an opportunity to practice, to decide whether you want to completely liberate yourself from being born, or at least you can have a better, very good quality birth by remaining non-violent in the mind. That is the other criteria. So you can have a better birth always, more spiritually inclined, more peaceful, more non-violent, more peace-loving. All these type of things come. And you see, like Swamiji used to tell, you might be able to choose a wife or a husband, but how will you choose the parents? You are already born. That you have to choose in the previous life itself, depending on your karma, your attitude, mental attitude, what it absorbs as the acquired habits of the mind, then it finds such parents, being born in such parents. Apart from that, one would carry the basic nature also. So many things are there. We can discuss further later as the question comes, but this is one of the basic thing we need to understand. That's why human life. All other creatures are just bothered about food. Generation after generation, they learn how to find their food, hunt their food, whatever it is. And once the stomach is full, then they won't bother for anything as long until they feel hungry again. Then they hunt food. But humans are not like that. Even if the stomach is full, then the mind keeps working. It will be missing something, it wants something else. It, it has its own issues and so many wishes. So, like this, it goes on and on. So, this mind is there, and this mind is active because of the brain only. So, if we can control the mind and take brain under our command, then we can use the brains in a better way. So, to discriminate the real and unreal. So, like this is the reason that the human life, you see, human life always has an edge over all other creatures. Such a big elephant with a small bullet, the humans have discovered and invented that they can kill. But physically, we cannot stand in front of elephant. If it tramples us, so we are dead, gone. It can just take it and throw us away. But when we have that rifle, the banduk with us, so we can shoot. So this all has been possible because of brain's application, mind's thinking, that we have enhanced our defense capabilities. Like this, everywhere we have an edge over all other creatures because of the mind and brain's application. Physically, we may not be equal to many of the animal also. Even a dog can attack and bite us and throw us away. But if we have the brain, so we can take care of so many things. So like that is why we always tell, Swamiji used to tell, human birth is rarest of rare gems. Don't go this waste. Utilize it. It's a once in a life cycle opportunity for you to know yourself better, to realize yourself as the eternal entity, immortal soul.
Thank you, Babaji. So, Babaji, humans have this ability to think with this intelligent brain, um, but it's also this thinking that has got us involved in the world and away from the self. But also through this thinking, we can go back to the self. Can Babaji talk about this? Like, because Babaji's talked about how human beings are sort of in the middle. We can elevate, we can also go down.
It's just like the snake and ladder game. You can elevate yourself in the ladder and go up by properly trying to apply your wisdom and discriminate. Like I used to think as a young boy, if happiness is there, it should be there at all times, 12 months, 24 hours. Why is the fluctuation? Sometimes unknown fear about future, what will happen tomorrow. Sometimes there is excitement. Okay, why is this? Is there something wrong in me or something wrong in the world? The ancient sages also of the Vedas who gave us Upanishads and Vedas, they also sat and pondered, what is the self? Who am I? Am I born with this body? Am I going to become extinct when the body dies? Or am I going to exist in some other form? What is the secret at all? As Nachiketa also asks in Kathopanishad, some people say कि we as the soul go into next birth according to our karmas or anywhere. They say कि different lokas, and some say कि nobody really knows, but nobody has come back to tell what exactly happened to them, whether they remember us at all, our loved ones when they have departed, whether they remember us at all, also we don't know. So, O Lord Yama, what is the truth then? Please give me that knowledge here and now. So that's how Yamadharma Raja's teachings become the Kathopanishad.
Thank you, Babaji. So, Babaji, you've talked before about the duties of a human being. We've been born as a human. Now, what is our duty as a human being?
We need to be more responsible. We need to know ourselves better and remain a matured personality so that we always are able to think of the welfare of a larger cause. That is why the Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu prayers have been taught since ancient times. Means we don't know how many lokas. Every now and then we get to hear that a new galaxy has been discovered, this has been done, exoplanet has come into existence, like that. We don't know. We don't know exactly also conclusively what all creatures are there in the creation, how much is there. But this much we would like to pray. May all beings in all the worlds be happy. So this is the responsibility. As humans, we should have had been more responsible towards fellow creatures in this world. Instead, we have become more selfish. And overnight, we don't mind destroy all others, any animals, their habitats. That's why humans and animal conflicts are increasing. We get to hear the news every other day. A leopard entering the drawing room of a person, leopard eating away, mauling the child and the old man. This type of things are happening. That's because their habitat has been destroyed. No more trees are there. We get to see monkeys, army of monkeys looking for their food. They become aggressive, they attack also. Because all trees have been cut. First thing we do is cut the trees and then try to build up the buildings. That concept is gone because we want money. Trees cannot give that much of money which the buildings can give. Apartments will come. They cut all the trees and build apartments. Like this, we have become selfish. When we are selfish, often we are irresponsible in behavior. Why wars are fought? You ask people of, if two countries are fighting war, you ask people of both countries people would always like to live peacefully. Nobody wants war. But a handful of people who want power in their hands, who want to control everything, they make all others fight with each other. And the news comes, one country is in war with another country. It is the soldiers who are fighting there to get killed, to kill. Commanders are commanding them. Above their commanding, there are ruling people who want this war to go on and on. So, like this, irresponsibility, human, we go into conflict. We don't bother. If innocent people are getting killed, we don't bother. We should have been more responsible. See, in olden days, like the times of Mahabharata, even if they had to fight a war, they charted some rules and regulations away from the civilian towns and populations. They used to choose, it's like a play field. There the war will happen. And they used to choose rules. You will fight with an equivalent soldier of your valor and your caliber only. If you are on a chariot, you will fight another person on a chariot. So who has the same power? Then invite him and then fight the war. That will be very funny and laughing for the present generation when we read also, right? In Mahabharata we read as long as Bhishma was there, this rule was followed. On the morning after breakfast, they all used to come and start fighting. Then in the evening, the conch would be blown before sunset and the war had to be stopped. Everybody go to their tents, their camps and take rest, and whatever needs to be attended, first aids and other things need to be, if we need to attend to the dead bodies of our beloved ones, they could go. So each could sit and talk also. Everything was there. It's unbelievable, such a thing, where the humans have deteriorated, have gone into this world. So that deterioration is the irresponsibility. If only we had been more responsible, if only everybody can meditate and purify their minds, they regain the consciousness effects, then we will be able to consider each other, love and honor each other. This is what we have been telling ever since we completed our tapas. What is there for us to give and take? Love and honor. If only we can love and honor everybody in the world, then everybody can live peacefully, happily. I have told scientists telling this earth have had and will always have enough resources to meet the need of humanity, but not its greed. One person wants to become a billionaire and he keeps raising oil prices, raising traffic prices, raising this commodity, raises, price goes. That commodity is the same. 50 years ago, the wheat or the rice or vegetables, whatever we ate, it is the same today also. But see the price, what it used to be 50 years. Now, somewhere somebody became greedy. They wanted the price to be raised. So it went on and on, the value, dollars value, rupees value, it all went haywire like this. So finally, if we look back, we have to understand it's human irresponsibility, selfish and narrow-mindedness, which has resulted in such a chaotic condition on this earth, where we all could have lived peacefully.
Thank you, Babaji. Baba, I heard someone, a thinker, saying the other day, if humans are so wise, why are we so stupid? we've progressed to be born as a human being in this rare and precious birth of a human. So why are there still, for many, evil thoughts
Yeah, when
in
we
the
are
mind?
selfish, we behave in a stupid way. The person who became selfish and wanted to usurp the piece of land which his guru had permitted him to sit and do meditation, instead he thought of usurping that piece of land. So he did stupid things, and conflicts happened in a monastery, in the ashram, which is supposed to have peace and tranquility. People should come here for peace and tranquility. They should be able to sit down and meditate. Meditation, that is the education that we have to give them. We don't teach that you have to fight wars, you have to clash with each other, you have to usurp somebody's land. We teach peace, honor and love each other. Let live and let live. You meditate. So this is possible only if everybody meditate. There are 10 people who are corrupted. Amongst them only one meditates and becomes purified. The other 9 will not allow that one person to live peacefully. Either they will kill him or they will make him one amongst them corrupted. So this is what the world's history we have always seen, the world's story script. That's what it happens. Whether it's in an office, in anywhere, any field you go, if 10 people are corrupted, you have to become one with them, adjust, then only you can live. In today's world, if one tries to be totally honest, they tell, oh, he doesn't know how to live. They consider this honest man as a stupid, but they are much more stupid. They are not using their wisdom, applying proper brains. Because finally, when death happens to the physical body, what is it that which will go with us? Are we going to carry this planet Earth with us, packing it in a box? Are we going to take anything that belongs to us in this world? This body itself is not going to go with us. This is what Adi Shankara singing to the scholar, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukhin Karane. You are trying to become a scholar, a wise person by memorizing the grammar word. You think you can become a scholar and earn well. Sing the glory of God, remember the divinity in your mind. Because when death happens to your physical body, nothing can come to your rescue. No power, no wealth. Death will not ask, are you a king? Are you a royal person? Are you a president? Oh, then okay, I will wait for another 2 months. It won't say like that. It's time. Let's go. Shaolin. Enough is enough. Let's go home. That's what. Whoever it is, whether it is the poor person or a rich one, have to leave the body. That's finished. This is the truth. But Yudhishthira tells in the Yakshak's questions in Mahabharata comes the story. In the one by one, his brothers go and try to fetch the water from the lake. But there is a Yaksha who appears there. He tells that I will ask questions. If you answer me only, then you can take the water. They refuse and they are in a rush to take the water. They all fall dead. Finally, Yudhishthira comes. He was the righteous person, very righteous. So he accepts, okay, you ask question. So amongst many other things, one of the things which is the greatest wonder, Yudhishthira tells, everybody knows that they have to die, yet they behave and believe that they are not going to die. Is the most wondrous, the most astonishing, surprising thing. He tells this is the thing. So that is how people either become wise or stupid. Those people who are wise, they became self-realized. Our Shiva Balayogi Swamiji he was blessed to be initiated into tapas by Lord Shiva, who came as a Jangama sage. And then afterwards, Swamiji used his wisdom. If it is 12 years that I have to sit, only death can stop my efforts. He had that inborn quality. Do or die must not be given up. That's what he used to teach us also. Never look back. If you are meditating, 1 hour you have to sit meditation, don't give up. In that 1 hour, sit down. Try to keep quiet, even if it is struggle. Try to keep quiet mentally. Try to just watch. Keep trying all the time. The mind runs like a monkey and you try to watch. Then you will become quiet mentally. One day you will succeed. In due course of time it will be possible. Don't give up. Don't give up. Swamiji used to tell always. That is the effort, self-efforts, and not to look back is very important always. So then we can achieve. So if we all want peace, this is also I have told, people of this world, they give big lectures about peace, but nobody wants to work for peace, and that is why we don't have peace. Simply talking for peace will not change the world. We have to work for it. If we are 10 people here, all the 10 of us, 140 of us will have to purify our minds. But when we go back to our kitchens, when we behave selfish. To my child, I would like to give all best vegetables, everything. If it is another person, I don't want to give it. I will become partiality. I will give only a little bit. Again, we become selfish there. We lose that purity of mind. All are our children. If this person has to eat, let him also eat. Let us feed equally both. Mother doesn't think. Mother thinks of only a child born out of her womb, first priority, and is unable to think about another person in the same place. Means, example, I am only talking for educational purpose. I am not directing this against any particular person or group of people. Examples, we have watched after my tapas also, what we have watched. Surprisingly, what happens to these human beings? This simple truth they are unable to understand. Thus, we are irresponsible. A person who behaves like that is irresponsible. A guru's property, and the person wanted his nephew to usurp that land and build it for himself, whatever he wants. That is because of selfishness, that stupid action happened. And what are we are here just to take care of the Guru's monastery. Any day that we have to go, if somebody else comes to look after, if our age grows old and we are unable to work anymore, we just give up and go. We are not going to usurp this land. We cannot claim this ashram belongs to me. I'm here only as a caretaker. Somebody else will come tomorrow. So this responsibility is what is important. It comes when we properly meditate, really understand the right technique. Otherwise, one must remember, even 40, 50 years, if you meditate also, the mind will not become purified. It will remain selfish. If this is meditated properly, just to watch, and the mind gives up all thoughts and all subconscious state, acquired habits, thoughts and visions all gets dissolved. They come up, good and bad comes. That is what the Amrita Manthan. In the Puranas, the story of, in the Kshira Sagara, the angels and demons were there. Both were trying to obtain the nectar. The divine was helping. The story, I don't go into Purana stories long. I just want to tell the concept. But when they started churning, so all things came, good also came, bad also came, poisonous things also came, which the divine Lord Shiva took. The concept means we have to pray that all the poison that is in our mind be taken away by our Lord, my Lord. Purify our mind and make it pure consciousness, eligible to merge with you. Give that nectar of purification. Not that this body has to be immortal all the time. That is not the thing. The immortality is already there, but our consciousness has to become purified, and that we are able to see universally. All of us need to live happily. That's why they taught Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. In one home, if one person becomes unhappy in the family, it affects others also. Yet people don't want to realize. The child is getting affected, it's a small baby, but the husband wife has to fight because they have their egos. They behave stupidly, accusing each other. The child gets neglected and the child's psychology is affected. Child also becomes violent, or it can become depressed. It can lose its psychological strength. Anything can happen to the child. This is all because irresponsible behavior. But if we understand the right technique, then this is how we have to meditate. We remain quiet. The mind has to understand it is me who has to become quiet. Becoming quiet and becoming purified, both are equally same. When such a purified mind thinks, then it thinks of a larger cause. It understands, oh God. This concept is given with Vasistha and Vishwamitra also. Vasistha was known as the Brahma Rishi. Brahma Rishi means one with the divine. But Vishwamitra also did tapas. He was known as a Raja Rishi. He still had that stubbornness and ego was there. So he comes to take the Kamadhenu with Vasistha. Then he brings all his army, everybody, but the Kamadhenu was the wishes fulfilling animal. So it gave out all the armies which defeated Vishwamitra's armies. And finally Vishwamitra tries to go and kill Brahmarishi Vasistha himself. But then suddenly he realizes, because the angels had given a condition, if Vasistha accepts you as a Brahmarishi, then you can become a Brahmarishi. Then he realizes, oh God, if I kill Vasistha, then who will call me as a Brahmarishi? Means we have to understand just the concept. The very thing which is sustaining us, this earth, if we are going to destroy this earth, who will sustain us? This is what we have to realize, humanity. So it's on and on, it can go on and on about responsibility and irresponsibility if we keep talking.
Thank you, Babaji. Baba, to ask about consciousness and the brain, Babaji's explained how consciousness is all pervaded, like the space. But we think and feel that we are this human body and this brain. But this consciousness is actually, it's not attached to the brain exactly. It's communicating and has a relationship with the brain, but are we right in saying that it cannot actually touch matter itself?
Yes, but just now in consciousness only it is stuck with the brain's reflections. Like brain is the biological organ, consciousness is you yourself, your conscious energy. Peculiar relationship is there. In my observation in tapas, along with the blood and oxygen that needs to be supplied to keep the brain alive, it is the mind which needs to be applied on the brain to keep it active. So this is what happened. Vice versa also. When the brain goes to sleep, the mind gets detached temporarily, but it has not become purified. Sometimes it dreams because minimum activation of the brain will be there. So thus the dream sequences happen. Catching them, the mind thinks that it is a reality. So now the brain helped us to be in touch with this universe through the nervous system and sensory organs. It receives message and it passes on. Then the process has to happen. It has to register in the brain. Then the brain reflects as a vision or a thought process. This is caught by the mind and registers in itself as a reality. So that is why I have told brain can be a very good servant but a bad master. In good faith, whatever brain reflects, if it simply accepts, a friend might mind, if simply accept, a friend might appear as a foe might appear as a friend, because it's like a computer brain. It simply reflects whatever it comes, but it cannot think like human consciousness. Whether this is my friend, this is a good man, this is not a good man. It cannot think. It is the mind using the brain has to think. That is why we tell discrimination, as we were talking in the beginning. It is the mind, by applying the brain, that is the wisdom, has to think what is good for me, what is the real, what is the unreal, what is permanent, what is impermanent. So we have just tried to tell this universe is impermanence. It is not going to be there all the time and in the same shape. Shape keeps changing. This body is there today, tomorrow it may become simply a handful of ashes and some bones. Everything will go in its own way. So this is the truth. But if the mind becomes a servant to the brain's reflection, then mind will become stupid, act stupidly, whatever brain. Instead, if we have control over ourselves, we can use proper wisdom. Say somebody comes and tells me, oh, this person is very bad. And I know that person for more than 20 years. Why will I take in face value by this person trying to brainwash me? But I have seen elderly person, well-educated person getting things at face value and get brainwashed quickly. I used to think, oh my God, this person knew me for more than 10 to 15 years. He couldn't think what I can do and what I couldn't do it. My nature he could not understand. But he simply believed somebody telling something. Somebody tells some story and they start believing. This entire world, it happens like that. In the society, in a home, in the society, in the world, this is happening. One tells something, that's what we generally call it as brainwashing. Like a media, social media is there. Hardly anybody, few maybe, try to verify whether anything that comes on the social media is right or wrong, good or bad. They take it in good faith and believe this is what is happening. They simply believe it. They don't try to verify at all. Don't try to understand from other sources. Don't try to take a second opinion. Simply because this had come in the social media that said this person is wrong and that person must be wrong. That person might be right. How do we know? We don't know. So like that, we simply believe. So that is what happens when we allow the brain to dominate on us. Instead, we should be using the brain instead of brain trying to use us. This is possible when you do meditation properly, regularly. Then you become a matured person. You will be able to use the brains properly. That's when you become a matured personality, human also, better human you will be behaving as a matured person in this world. Where you needed to bring people closer, instead you make them fight with each other. So are you a corrupted, cunning person or are you a saint? So that's how one becomes a saint and another becomes a corrupted, cunning person. One is trying to bring both together and advise them to live peacefully, all humanity. All saints have always advocated, live peacefully, love each other. But humanity hardly has learnt these lessons. But others are there, they make two people fight and derive some happiness and some good things for themselves, and they become rich, they gain more power, they always rule. Both start thinking that we need this ruler, so thus they rule, they keep fighting. So this thing happens in the world, is happening. All educated people understand, they all get to see these things happening. But yet, how can we change? Unless everybody tries to meditate, understand spirituality in its right sense. Everybody talks of meditation, but how many know what is the purpose of doing the meditation? what it can be helpful to us, what it can give us, ourselves, it can give us ourselves. The self-realization, that's what it means. So not other experiences, not its own imaginations. Because the mind cannot give the truth. It gives only such thing based on its own imaginations. So this is all responsibility, irresponsibility, human behavior. We forget to understand what a rare gem that this human body has come to us. We should not be wasting this once in a life cycle opportunity. That's what in Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, this had an impact on me from childhood. O Arjuna, before death shall claim thee, go to the knowers of truth. Proper manners also is taught, protocol. Go to the knowers of truth means they are the gurus, they are the self-realized masters. Seeking their permission with all your humility by putting intelligent questions. Every time after we discuss, we give some time to people. It's a short time, we have only hardly 15 to 20 minutes. Within that 15 to 20 minutes, whoever is able to ask an intelligent question, they get an intelligent answer. Otherwise, simply a time will pass by, they will keep asking the same old round again, egg. That is all zero. No absoluteness is there and the time gets wasted. I am unable to give proper answer, but because they don't ask the question properly. If they ask the question properly, if it is intelligent, that's what Sri Krishna advises. This has to happen before death happens to your body, Arjuna. He told this. This is also important. We have to understand human life, why it is such a rare gem. You have to earn your livelihood. You will have big challenges in the world to live a life that you would have adopted. You cannot give up. You have to live. You don't have to run away anywhere. But living this, accepting the challenge, then you have to look after yourself also. That is what is spirituality. That is meditation. Then you can enhance your capabilities, your understandings, your observation powers, your ability to consider about others. All these things increase. You become a responsible human.
Thank you, Babaji. Baba mentioned at the beginning, please bless us to inspire our wisdom. Some of us are inspired by Babaji's talks, other people perhaps inspired by other things. It seems that the inspiration in the right direction is so important on the path, that we're so fortunate to have this inspiration, all of us here, to join the Zoom and attend Babaji's Q&A and listen to Babaji. So it is, how has this come about? Some people are attracted, some are not somehow.
See, this is a very difficult question, inconclusive answer. I have observed this. Some people call it destiny. If they are destined, they come. If they are not destined, this doesn't happen. This world has both. Even when you come to spirituality also, there are highest right teachings are available. The ancient teachings are there. But there are other magical things, myths, what people expect, powers and miracles, they are also available. So where often people get carried away with them and they lose this vital knowledge of the self, the highest knowledge. So this is happening. Even after coming to spirituality, they are unable to understand the real truth of the spiritual essence, what we need to learn, what we can achieve as human beings. That discrimination power doesn't happen to them. They simply get carried away by listening to somebody. That's when, even in Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankara tells, after talking to his students, in the end, he tells, all this time I have told my opinion, my experience. Now it is for you to adopt such methods, practice the truth and experience the truth to yourself, and then you have your own opinion what the truth is. That's what Swamiji also always told. You meditate and you know your real self. Meditate and know yourself. He said, sit down, meditate, then you will know what it is. Don't become a victim of religious prejudices. Swamiji used to talk this importantly, very important thing. Otherwise, often people will simply succumb to religious prejudices. Anybody talks of anything, free for all. They tell ki, this religious book talks of this thing, you will have to behave like this only. They get carried away, they have no choice. But at least in our culture, we have this freedom. You can choose what you want to read, what type of sadhana, meditation you want to do, what you want to achieve. After achieving also, I am able to express my opinion, my experience. I am not bound by any one particular text. I can quote any text that I have read, which created this impact on me. So that is somehow, this is a destiny which is difficult to conclusively answer. But one thing, if not today, tomorrow, the divine will attract everyone. All will go back to self. That is why we have told the soul's consciousness has jumped into this creation called well. But in this well of the creation universe, the divine has fitted springs called agony, trouble. This agony will throw you back to divinity. The divine is said to be, he keeps slapping with the soul wish. Let me slap, let me, my child, realize and come to me, come back to me. He slaps. But yet the child runs after the world looking for happiness. And the child curses the divine. There is no God. The God is not helping me. He is not fulfilling my wishes. Why? They keep running after the water in the desert. The divine again slaps. But to some, once in a while, the wisdom strikes. My God, what is this? I am 85 years now. The peace is elusive. I've been looking for this peace since childhood in this world. One person was talking to me, he told, I acquired wealth, money. Babaji, I bought so many cars, more than 10 cars I could buy. I had money, but I had no peace. I could marry several wives, Babaji. I had no peace. I built so many homes. I bought so many properties. Babaji, I could not have peace. He asked me question, do you have peace? I told, yes, I don't have anything, but I have peace. Then he folded his hands and went away.
Thank you so much, Babaji. Baba, there's a question that's been sent in previously that
Okay.
if I may ask, and then we'll open it up to the participants, if that's okay.
Okay.
Babaji, some questions from Setu Madhavan. And the first, so what will happen if I am unable to achieve enlightenment during my current life? Will I take a new human birth and continue the practice? If yes, does that mean that the practice that I'm doing in this birth is a continuation of the practice from my past births that had failed to achieve enlightenment?
Definitely. You have obtained this inclination because of your sadhana in the previous life also. You continue the sadhana till the last breath of life, it is worthwhile. Never give up. Because some amount of purification always happens when you sit for meditation. You have to continue to achieve more and more. The more your mind becomes non-violent, then you take a better birth, where you will have such parents from whom you can get inspiration, the right inclination towards spirituality or bhakti marga, and also you yourself will have that wisdom of inclination towards the truth of existence, truth of your own real self, spirituality, and your surroundings also you will find, and if necessary you will find a right guru also who will come into your life. All these things you will be blessed. So never give up sadhana. It will not go waste. I have always told it's like putting into fixed deposit whatever you all meditate in this life. It will be with you, it will not go away. Even if unable to obtain total self realization, for some reason, if the body dies, then you will have the inclination. Next life, it will be much better. So to be born as a human being to a particular parents from whom you can feel inspired, obtain the guidance for the character, culture, spirituality, and the surroundings. And after the surroundings, as long as possible, parents will look after. One time will come, the child will have to go outside to the school, to the society. It will find friends. In the friends, there might be good people, there might be bad people. The child's individual capacity also matters. What is that it's going to absorb? So all these things you will be blessed if you are doing sadhana in this life. So that's how we saw the world, but we never got carried away. We were totally dedicated to the Guru. Once we accepted him as a Guru, we never questioned anything. He was all in all. 1971, I saw my master and I fell in love, means never looked back at all. Hundreds of people tried to brainwash us. They told this, they told that, you can go do, you can achieve this one, you are wasting your youth. It's okay, no problem. My Guru is this. Never looked back. Determined, we went ahead. So that's how you will be able to achieve.
Thank you, Babaji. Another question. If the I is never born, then what, who gets born and reborn and continues the practice to achieve enlightenment?
It is the physical body which is born and which dies, but that I, which is in the form of mind, until it doesn't realize us, doesn't merge us with the self, it is that mind which, based on its imaginations, which form as the intensity of thoughts in the last moment, the mind, which is the consciousness and energy, spins and imagines automatically. Then with the intensity of thought, it assumes next incarnation. Thus, though it is the body which is born, it imagines and experiences in illusion as if the mind itself is born. Thus, it identifies itself with the physical body. To overcome this only, if you meditate and remove the mind's attention to its own imaginations, then it will be able to become attentive to its real self. Thus, the self-realization happens.
Thank you, Baba.
Pranams, Babaji.
Yes, yes.
Hello. So I was thinking about when a self-realized individual or a yogi sits with the pure intention to benefit the minds of all conscious beings, is he able to do, or he or she able to do such because at the base level, all of our minds are existing on the same ground? So a pure mind of a self-realized being that's not caught up in focusing on its own, ego, is it able to subtly affect the minds of all beings?
Definitely. You see, in our culture, a yogi is considered like a son of God, means the messenger. So our job, we just try to create this awareness. Whoever is destined and blessed to sit with us, so their minds will definitely be influenced to a larger extent, and that is what we keep trying in our prayers, in our meditation, in our remaining in the self, everything creates such vibrations. So it is flowing in all directions. So now whoever develop faith and devotion,
Yes.
they become receptive and they are able to gain that momentum.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking. So it is true that at the base, pure, unpolluted mind all exist as one. It's the same
Yes.
ground. Okay. Thank you, Babaji.
Yes,
Pranam,
Kriti.
Babaji. Uh, Babaji, when you say that this whole world is so selfish and so self-absorbed in being irresponsible, wise wise people are less. The art of discrimination is pretty rare. How to protect this whole, purity? I mean, how does it works? It's been working for years, but it seems very impossible. But still, there is some power that uh, the the like Babaji himself. I think that Babaji has to be protected because anybody can come and harm or disrupt the purity of ashram or the place which we have. So what is inspiration to what is the comfort? How is it all protected?
We always put our efforts, do our karma, and leave it to the divine. So when we give up the body, we will have the satisfaction. We tried whatever we could try. Like every Saturday, I come on to this Zoom class. I try whatever I can try to tell the truth to people who all participate in this Zoom. First, I tell them, you meditate like this. So they all have to listen, considering it as a command from the commander. Then the question answer, we select themes or people ask questions. I try to answer sincerely based on my experiences, not to criticize any single person or a group or the world, any such thing. General viewpoints we give for sake of education so that people can learn and then practice this meditation. So at least there is some satisfaction is there. You see today 150 people, they get attracted, come and they keep waiting for a Saturday and they all receive the Zoom link and they come and participate in the meditation and they are able to sit in their drawing rooms and do meditation with me. They are able to see me live. Like that, we need to have satisfaction and we need to keep trying. If every one of us try, say today 150 or 45 or all of you are sitting and this is one person here. You forget about self-realization for a while. So whatever experience about the self and truth I obtained and the opinions I have, I am trying to convey. If you all also meditate and experience the truth, imagine then if all of you try to spread this awareness, from one person, another 150 people are trying to spread this awareness to other people. Then every one such person in the 150 may be able to influence 100 or 200 people. Like that it can go on increasing. But everybody must put efforts. Not that simply you come into the Zoom class and after this you forget until next Saturday you have nothing to do. It should not be. You must practice every day. This is a challenge. You see, most of you and almost all of you may be householders. You may have to earn a livelihood. You may have your responsibilities. You have to live that life. In addition, you have to take out a time so that you practice 1 hour meditation. Then, when you are able to find some friends, you try to create an awareness, whatever is your possible for you. You assume the power of a teacher, then teach them. So then we can change the society to a larger extent will be possible. That's why Swami Vivekananda told, give me such youth who can dedicate themselves for this life and I will change the society and show you. So this is what is lacking, People, several youth came to our ashram also, but they came with their own personal agenda and then ran away when they could not do all such activities. But one needs to be sincere, but we will keep trying. We'll try to influence. Like from your childhood, you have attached to me at least. At least you did not run away. Today also you consider me like a guru. You want to consult me, you want to take my blessing. There is some attachment in you for me, right? Something is good, better than nothing.
Babaji, in same attachment, it feels maybe out of 150 people, somebody gets distracted and is not using the wisdom properly, or decide to disrupt this peaceful session here. It may happen. So our devotees, us ourselves feel like, no, we want to get away, like remove that person from this environment or protect in some ways, harsh measures. So I want to understand what is the sanctity of taking those harsh measures. Can we discriminate in saying, no, this person cannot disrupt my peace?
Yes, definitely. See, you are talking, best example is this Zoom session. If one of the person goes mad and tries to shout once, hey, unmute my mic, I don't want this Babaji to keep talking, he is giving lectures unnecessarily, his nonsense, remove him. All others are there who like me and who understand me, who want me to keep talking. So they all can ask him to shut up. Either you shut up or get up and go away. When the ashram also, if somebody attacks, if all devotees gather and tell that person what you are doing is unfair, this is your guru's ashram, and this is meant for public to come and sit down, not your personal property. You must not be doing this. Then a lot could have happened. Always in the world, this is another thing which we learned. More than bad people trying to do bad things, very often it is the good people who don't want to do anything, who don't want to get involved. That is the reason world is suffering.
Yes, Babaji.
Pranav, Babaji.
Yes, please.
Babaji, subconscious mind and brain are the same?
No, brain is different. Subconscious mind is the minds which is holding all habits.
Babaji, one more question, Babaji. Long back, I studied one book, Spirituality and Prosperity and Spirituality. In that book, it is repeatedly written that invoke spirit. How to invoke spirit, Babaji?
Invoking spirit is God, divinity, your existence as the soul. Means that clue is, gateway is your own mind. You can invoke when your mind is concentrated and purified. So first if you meditate and purify your mind, then you will be able to invoke the spirit within you.
Thank you, Babaji. Thank you.
Pranam Guruji.
Yes.
My question is like when we want to have the consciousness, first we have to purify our mind. So to purify mind, there may be more ways. One of way is to do the meditation. My question is, what are the other ways also we can purify our mind so that we will have the pure consciousness?
All methods taught in religion is for this purpose only. Like music can be a very good therapy for mind control, purifying the mind. Devotional songs, if you like music, that is one thing. Chanting of a divine name, a mantra, japa, this also can be helpful. If all the time you are unable to sit silently in the meditation, so when you are awake and walking, you can keep chanting within your mind, something like that one. So this is one thing. And in the Karma Yoga, that you accept whatever comes in your life. Acceptance is a very big thing. Then your mind recedes and becomes purified. When it is unable to become quiet, it gets agitated, then it runs away. So this is what the Karma Yoga happens. Like this Bhakti Yoga is there. Always try to remember the divinity in some form, whatever you like, it is your choice always. And places of worship are there. There also you go. So bother, like we do abhishekams in the temples. So these abhishekams are also good exercise. On a surface that is cleaner, that is the idol of the divinity, you pour such thing which can be consumed. But while pouring, you all watch that divinity and imagine there is divine standing he is being given a beautiful bath, then your mind becomes purified. When you have to imagine, if you can imagine the highest thing, then you will be purified. For example, this body as a personality, I am not important. Your own faith and devotion is what will see you through. If you have that faith, ki this is a realized master, you will always see in your consciousness a realized master, and then you can achieve that truth to yourself. So, like this, there are so many methods which can purify your consciousness. If you adopt and keep doing, keep yourself busy the whole day while you are busy working also, it will be helpful to you.
Thank you, Baba.
Pranam Babaji.
Yes.
After the meditation, you chant saying that Om and you start the chanting process. After at the end of the meditation, when the sound comes, my body gives jerks. It is not one day. Every week, when the meditation is completed, with your chant, my body jerks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do.
No, it's okay, no problem. It won't be harmful in any way. It's a little bit. But still, we try to tell slowly that you don't become excited. I always also tell all of you can slowly open your eyes. Even if a little bit jerk happens, try not to open the eyes immediately and slowly open the eyes, or you yourself also try to chant something slowly so that you come back to senses properly. That
No,
means your
mind was
meditation was
my
going very
mind.
good.
My mind was so pleasant. With a small sound, automatically the body jerks. It is not the closing eyes. My body is maybe in very pleasant state.
Yeah, it is that our mind has become more used to silence. So any smallest sound also might appear like a violent thing. So it is good thing for you. You can meditate quietly alone also. If this is disturbing for you, any of these
No,
things,
Only when the starting word, it gives jerks, then it comes normal.
then it's okay then. No problem. Carry on.
Pranam Babaji.
Yes.
Babaji, I have one question. I don't want my mind to go into loops and go away from the divine. I understand that maybe it is the way of life, or somehow divinity is slapping for me to change my path. I don't know what to do. I want to be 100% in spirituality and also achieve my goals, but I don't know if I'm going somewhere wrong, and I'm facing,
See, all you need is don't lose faith. That's what our Guru said. Lose anything, but don't lose faith. That will sustain you to be with the divinity always. Good.
This is Bhaskar from Nagaland. And my
Okay.
question is, since your topic is regarding birth and death, today's topic, the entire process of first thing is immersing and consciousness. This is both within ourselves. So why is this the beginning of birth within ourselves? I'm not talking about the first birth or the reincarnation. This is one part. And death, since a person who has absolutely gone into consciousness is been liberated, right Babaji? So we are trying to get into our own self. When we are learning to be conscious of what, that consciousness is within already ourselves. That is what I presume in my limited knowledge. So why this whole story of birth, reincarnation, and looking into ourselves is basically meditation is we are looking into ourselves.
Yes.
So I just little bit complex. I don't get this thing. Why birth and then rebirth, and why in the beginning is that first point of getting birth or rebirth?
Okay,
or born?
now, though as you are not talking of the first birth, or we don't have a conclusive answer, but this is what generally, now this world appears to you based on your own attitude, your imaginations, either as a good or a bad, has a right, has a wrong. Like the old saying is there, one man's food is another man's poison. Not necessary that everybody should like in the same way. Now, what is the mind? That mind itself is the consciousness. That mind, as long as it is thinking and into imaginations, we call it as mind. When it stops all thinking, becomes totally quiet, when you are able to achieve the silence, then it regains its form of pure consciousness. As long as the imagination is there, now when the body dies, death happens means the brain stops functioning, it dies. That's when medically people tell you the person has passed away. But mind gets detached from the brain when the brain dies. But the mind is holding all thought habits. It has not given up totally. So it spins, and the intensity of thoughts happens in the last moments as the brain is becoming cool and getting quiet. Based on those thoughts, this consciousness or mind assumes its next birth. Like this, on and on it's going on, birth and death is going on. Nobody knows when it started, but one can
That is the
stop
point.
this. That is the teaching of spirituality. When this physical body is available, if you are able to stop your mind, stop its imagination, so that you have the control over your mind. When you want to think only, you are able to think. When you don't want, you don't think. During the fag end of life, automatically the mind becomes stopped, quiet. Then the liberation happens. No more birth happens. That mind, which is pure consciousness, merges with the divinity that is all pervaded. So this is what happens in our experience. So this is what recommended goal for one also. Why is the difficult question? It is just happens because of the presence of energy in the consciousness. Means mind is made up of both consciousness and energy. This is the concept of Shiva and Shakti that's given in the Hindu culture also. Because of the presence of the energy, the mind keeps spinning. Just like, for example, one example, sometimes when you have had a good rest in the night, you are fresh in the morning, your mind might be peaceful, quiet, you are enjoying that. Unknown to you, suddenly the mind starts imagining. In the beginning, it tries to imagine all pleasant things. Nobody wants unpleasantness. But as the day passes by, mind jumps into both good and bad, pleasant and unpleasant. Then it gets trapped and involved. Then it's unable to stop itself. Long time, somewhere we have neglected, we have not taken care of our mind. That it should have been that when you wanted to think, you should be able to think. When you don't want to think, you should have been able to keep quiet. But that is not happening. Like whole day, if you are working in the office, you are tired, you come back home. You can rest your physical body on a sofa, on a bed. But the mind refuses to rest like that. It will be spinning. So that is why the spiritual practitioners are taught, so that you are able to become the master of yourself, your mind. When you want to think, you think. When you don't want to think, you don't think. So then you can get rid of this birth and death, if that is your choice.
Namaskar. This was my first lesson with you. Namaskar.
Wonderful. Bless you.
Okay, so this is from Mukta, how to deal with strongly rigid, egotistical people who are stuck into some concepts. For example, to follow only Jesus, they cannot even accept worship Mother Divine because it's not in the Bible. And others who are rigid in a particular direction, if they're atheist and making fun, if you are spiritual, how to deal with these kind of people without losing our peace and love.
It's very difficult to change others always. First thing, you can change yourself when you have a problem means. So it is the same. Means any such status of a Jesus means they are merged with the divine, which is all pervaded. Only one divine, one God, many names, everybody accept this. There cannot be two different truths, only one truth. Only one truth can be all pervaded also. Matter can be different. Physical bodies can be different. So this body is something, somebody else, this body is something else. That's how we become rigid. This is my guru, I don't want to accept anybody as a guru. So this type of egoism happens to people. But if they can apply some wisdom, understand, you see your guru wherever you go, you have a choice. If you want to see Jesus, for example, anywhere you go, you try to see Jesus only. Any idol of any other divinity, any other culture, any other religion, you try to see your Jesus if you are used to see. Because try to see your Jesus everywhere as all pervaded. How can there be any other person other than that? If you deny that this is not Jesus, then you are denying the existence of your own guru as all pervadedness. So if this wisdom can be exercised, all are same, there is no difference. Our prayers, that's why my guru always honored all religions as equal and honorable. From time to time in this world, all great self-realized masters who have come, we have highest regard for them. We convey our best regards. And today with this, we are ending this Q&A.